It's the weekend. I was thinking we could do whatever you want.
Hey yo, what's good everybody? Today we're creative on the episode. Welcome to another episode on the Plug Up Fridays. Please comment, like and subscribe. Hit the notification button so you can know when we drop in the next episode. It's at Banzi Modimogale on Twitter, Banzi Modimogale on Instagram. And obviously we have an amazing creative today. Please introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Megan and I'm an entrepreneur. I've lived in LA for the last 4 to 5 years, but what happened was I kept coming to Cape Town, and every time I came here it would just steal my soul. So I ended up moving my avocado-based product business and starting a workshop where I teach women how to grow their hair, how to style their hair, how to unlearn harmful narratives of colonialism, and also just how to just be bold. Can I curse?
Yeah.
Just how to be bold as fuck.
She just asked me if she can curse.
Yeah. Yeah, just because I don't know.
No,
but yeah.
Cool.
So that's my background.
Okay, cool. So basically, how are you feeling today? Like, how are you feeling? I know you always sing some super amazing music.
Well, lately I've just been feeling really wonderful because I've put like my soul into a lot of my art and my business. And when people show love and they hit you up and they love your work and the people featuring your shit, you're just like, oh, I am that bitch. I don't know why I was tripping. Not for real though, because you know, entrepreneurship is hard. So you have days where you're up, but today is a real up day.
So what do you do to get into that state? You know, I always feel like you always trying to elevate yourself personally, also be through maybe meditation. Maybe you can talk a bit about what you do to get yourself into the mood.
Yeah, so my brand, it's called MVG, and it stands for Motivate, Vibe, and Grow. So every day I motivate myself, every day I find a vibe, every day I'm focused on growth. And for the last 10 years, my mantra has been, I want to get comfortable with discomfort. So I just push myself into situations that aren't super comfortable. Like I used to get jobs that I didn't necessarily feel ready for, or I'll start projects that I didn't feel super comfortable with.
Does this include like maybe the work that you did with the celebrities in terms of their hair and stuff like that? Or?
Yeah, everything. You know, I think when you start as an entrepreneur, sometimes you kind of have imposter syndrome or whatever, but I kind of force myself into discomfort. So every day I wake up, and I'm about to give you my day routine. Okay, so every day I wake up and I have these, it's like daily rituals. It's like things that I need to do so I'm not in my feelings.
And she has this fire playlist. I'm probably going
we're gonna get there. But yeah, so every day I wake up, I do an oil pull, which is when you take coconut oil and you put it in your mouth and you swish it around for like 10 to 15 minutes, and then when you spit it out, your teeth is like, yeah. So then what I do is I make some tea. While I'm oil pulling, I'm listening to a motivational video or a podcast, and then I make the tea. I burn some Palo Santo. Then I play my playlist, which is called MVG's Moments of Stillness. No, Mindful Moments of Stillness. And I just meditate. I write down everything I'm grateful for. I think when you start your day like that.
Yeah, we're definitely gonna add that playlist link on the episode.
Yeah.
And Megan also has a podcast. So we maybe can talk a bit about the podcast. She has an amazing podcast. So you can imagine the energy she puts into herself and everything that she does.
No, I'm just putting I just kind of feel like, you know, if I go out tomorrow, I want to know that I gave it to y'all, you know? So my podcast, it's called the Motivate, Vibe, Grow podcast. And, you know, it's really for people who have abandonment issues. You know, a lot of things happen in your childhood that kind of influences you if you don't heal it, especially trauma. So it's a lot about my personal experiences, growing up in foster care, you know, how that makes you feel about yourself. And yeah, I think it's super dope because, not because I did it. I think it's super dope is because people don't feel confident talking about the ways in which their childhood has kind of fucked them up. You
Definitely. I can relate in a lot of ways. There's a figure that I want us to talk about a bit. So I was encouraged to watch this series, the 4-part series on Netflix by a lady called Megan C.J. Walker. She's one of the, I would say, the earliest millionaire. I think she's the first millionaire ever recorded in history, especially a black woman. So how did she influence you? Like, because I feel like you embody a lot of the energy and the tenacity that she has.
Well, honestly, like hearing about her story, especially after the way I started my product was I used to grow up and I would get perms, and I moved from Philadelphia to Portland, Oregon, and I would make these avocado masks for my hair, and people literally started sending me money before I had containers. Like I would post about it on Snapchat and Instagram, and it became a business before I even had containers for it, and it took me a long time to fully embrace it. So seeing how she was able to build her business and just really show women, look what my products did for my hair, that was exactly what happened for me. Like my hair, I never really knew it could curl up because it wasn't properly moisturized. So once I figured that out, and then my fro started flourishing, like I would walk down the street and people were like, oh, like, is that your hair? You know, people would want to touch your hair like you're a pet. So I just think that strong black women in the beauty industry just really influenced me because there's room for everyone, you know? And like, how many people are there in the world? Like, just give me like 5 million of them so they can buy my products. You know?
They can buy from somebody else. So I think she's a very, very, say prolific figure, and just to see how she lost confidence in herself and she still picked herself up even through the adversities that she went through, it really inspired me, even as a dude, because we've had this chat before where I didn't really feel confident about like having hair because of his corporate issues and having to work in corporate with being a black guy with hair. So you're also very encouraging on men with hair and sculptures. Do you want to maybe talk a bit about that?
Yes, so just to touch on that a little bit, so when I started my natural hair journey, I actually was working in the aerospace industry. So before I decided to start my business, I worked in a very male-dominated, all-white men. I was the youngest woman, and I was also the only black woman in leadership. So it was like really strange to be figuring out your natural hair. And then they're like, oh my God, can I touch it? So it was really, really uncomfortable. So because of my experience in corporate America, I really wanted to empower women that, you know, you don't have to, there's this narrative of natural hair as being like unkempt, not beautiful, not being put together, and that's just not true. And even with men, you know, what people need to understand is that when you think of African grooming practices throughout history, you know, it goes so much further than aesthetics. So it's not just about, you know, your hair. It kind of symbolizes who you are. So to allow a corporation to like strip you of your identity like that is not cool. So I kind of teach women and men to be comfortable, to learn how to grow their hair out, because also when I started my products, I actually started it for men because, you know, a lot of guys don't know how to care for their beard. They also don't know what to do with their hair. And then they wonder when they're like 35 why they're going bald. And it's like, well, my brother, did you
care about your hair?
Did you do anything?
So I think that's really, really amazing. I think one thing that we can conclude about is the crown workshops. I really find them very amazing in terms of the different it's so diverse. How did the MVG birth crown workshops, or did crown workshop birth MVG?
Well, honestly, I feel like this was my destiny from the womb. You know, I feel like I'm misremembering myself, but no. So I started my business, and honestly, I was working in the aerospace industry. You know, you get paid really well. You know, it's an upward trajectory. But when people started wanting to buy my product, I was like, maybe if I sell this product, I can do what I really want to do in the world. And I've always wanted to have a social enterprise, and what happened was I had my avocado-based product. I was figuring out how I was going to leverage it for people who couldn't necessarily afford it. And then when I came to Cape Town in 2018, I remember like being in Joburg and all the little girls were like, please don't leave us, help us with our hair. And I'm like, girl, like, I got you.
The most amazing thing is the fact that your singing is green and everything that you do is sort of green is involved.
Yeah, and I even went through a stage where I was like, I'm about to be on brand at all times. Like my nails were green tea color. Like I was giving you like different colors, different palettes of green. But yeah, so I started MVG Naturals and I realized, you know, I've been getting paid to do hair since I was 13. So I've been a natural hairstylist in LA. I have women coming to me every day and I started to realize that women who are like 30 and 40 years old, they didn't feel comfortable with their natural hair. And I'm just like, imagine what little girls are going through. In my background, you know, I've done diversity training in the workplace. I've always done leadership development stuff. So I was like, I'm about to marry my creative world and my corporate world because I felt like I was living two separate lives, you know? So birthing the Crown Workshop, which is, it's basically a creative, engaging space for women to learn how to care for their hair, learn how to style their hair, and learn how to make products using what's in their kitchen. And to more importantly, just learn how to re-examine their relationship with their self. So I started the workshops in Brooklyn, then I did it in LA, and then my second workshop, I ended up getting like a news feature. And then I was like, you know what? I'm doing this workshop in Cape Town. Like, I don't know how I'm gonna do it. I can barely pay my rent. I don't know how it's gonna happen.
I think that's very encouraging for me, and the fact that I'm very interested in your closing statement in terms of like what advice can you give to young girls about getting into business? Because the other thing that you mentioned is the fact that you want to be able to create jobs and create opportunities to go like, yo guys, hey, I did it, you can do it too. So what advice would you say or do you have for like young girls that are out there think, yo, I want to be like Megan?
Well, that's a lot. But I would say, you know, I mean, it all goes back to like every day you gotta motivate yourself even when it's hard. Like you need to journal, you gotta write down, you gotta see it. Sometimes if you can't see it, you can't imagine it for yourself. So just start writing things down and then it will slowly start to come into fruition.
About writing, do you sometimes write stuff like, at least you write something today, then 2 weeks later you've implemented it but you didn't know that? I don't know, I have this weird tendency, I write something today, then 2 weeks later I've done it and I'm like, when did you, is there support, does it work the same for you? Yeah,
and I'll give you an example. So over lockdown, you know how people do like little vision board parties and they cut things out and they're pasting it. I was like, I don't have time for that. So I ended up like designing a vision board digitally using Canva. And
Canva is amazing.
Yeah, and I put Crown Mag.
Yes.
Look, I said, yo, my work's gonna get featured in Crown Mag, and I put that, and literally it happened like a few days ago. So it was just like.
Amazing. So where can people catch you on the socials? Even I think the website's gonna be in the description.
I'm not done my question. Can I answer my question?
No, you can.
I'm not done.
Okay, you do the most.
Okay. Yeah. So again, so you need to motivate yourself, and also you gotta vibe. So you gotta find something you can lose yourself in that is beneficial, and you know maybe you have something that you've been wanting to learn, and you've been putting it off. Start learning on YouTube because I started learning how to make product by literally Googling things every day. So you can do what you love to do and then you can eventually get paid for what you love to do. Maybe it's yoga, maybe it's fashion, whatever.
So in terms of like you need to have that change in behavior. I'm saying you need to have like a change in behavior of one thing.
No, you just have to find something that you love to do, that you want to do, that makes you feel good. And even if people don't understand, because if you listen to people who are like, oh, you don't know how to do this, in the beginning you're not going to be good, but like when you keep working, you will be. Also, you have to focus on growth. So you want to put yourself in situations that's going to stretch you, whether it's experiences, just getting out of your comfort zone. Don't hang around the same people who aren't going nowhere if you want to go somewhere. So you even have to diversify how you involve yourself in. I feel like for me, I would always be around people and I used to feel like, oh, so this is like what life is like in your world. And then I started to imagine it for myself. Even traveling, I was like, damn, I was so happy in LA. And then I was like, I went back to LA after coming to Cape Town and I was like, nah, I want to see Table Mountain every day. Period. Like, that's what I need. So, yeah, like when you get exposed to more, you start to see more for yourself. So, motivate yourself, vibe, girl.
And grow. Okay, so on the socials?
You can find me at Motivate Vibe Grow and also at Crown Workshop.
No, obviously we're gonna add the website on the descriptions. We're gonna add the playlist. I'm probably gonna share Canva also because I think Canva is very, very
in the podcast.
And the podcast. So thank you for tuning in, Megan. Thank you for the opportunity. We know we've been
thank you.
But yeah, it's really amazing. Your energy is just a lot. Thank you guys for tuning in. We'll see you guys on the next episode. Slow, please comment, like, and subscribe. Follow Megan, follow me, and let's do the most. Slow, away.
Tiko mga kaasa muna. Yo.